If you're lucky enough to visit the Great Barrier Reef, it's easy to see why it's one of the 7 natural wonders of the world.
You can actually see it from outer space, and it's this huge area that's the size of France, which is home to the largest continuous reef system in the world.
Scientists like Professor Ove Guldberg have long warned about the threat to the reef, but news that it could be now put on the World Heritage Committee's in danger list supposedly took Environment Minister Sussan Ley by surprise.
They've singled out Australia for this unprecedented approach without foreshadowing the decision against the advice that they were giving us only a week ago, and in a way that actually makes no sense.
Sussan Ley seems to have overlooked the federal government's own reports on the state of the reef. The most recent, in 2019, downgraded the reef's long-term outlook from poor to very poor, citing climate change and deteriorating water quality as serious threats to its future. It was this Great Barrier Reef Outlook report that helped convince the World Heritage Committee to act now.
This draft decision is not a surprise. This is consistent with the concern that UNESCO and the World Heritage Committee have expressed about Australia's management of the Great Barrier Reef for the best part of a decade.
One, two, three.
Back in 2011, the World Heritage Committee first flagged its concerns about the state of the reef when Julia Gillard's Labor government signed off on a huge liquefied natural gas project inside the World Heritage Area near Gladstone.
That is great news for Gladstone, it's great news for Queensland, it's great news for Australia.
The LNG project and planned expansion of coal ports up and down the Queensland coast almost put the reef on the in danger list in 2015. Only a big diplomatic effort by the Abbott government, led by then Environment Minister Greg Hunt, stopped that happening.
Since then, we've had 3 catastrophic mass coral bleaching events that have hit the Great Barrier Reef.
These are essentially underwater heat waves that kill corals in great numbers.
Hello, Brisbane.
It was US President Barack Obama who linked the Abbott government's climate policies to the future of the Great Barrier Reef when he came to Australia for the G20 meeting in 2014.
I want my daughters to be able to come back, and I want them to be able to bring their daughters or sons to visit. And I want that there 50 years from now.
A year later, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull was in Paris for the historic climate summit, where it was agreed to keep global warming well below an increase of 2 degrees and as close as possible to 1.5 degrees. That target is critical to the survival of even part of the reef, say Australia's leading climate scientists.
Even if you hit those targets of 1.5 or well below 2 degrees, you still lose somewhere between 70 and 90% of today's corals.
What the World Heritage Committee is now saying is that there are a number of big threats to the future of the reef, but climate change is the biggest, and all countries, including Australia, need to act to support the Paris goals.
Well, the largest threat facing the reef currently is climate change, basically. And that's coming from a couple of directions. One is sort of hotter than normal temperatures that cause sort of heat waves underwater.
I recognise climate change is the biggest threat to the reef.
China will chair the World Heritage Committee meeting next month as the government steps up its lobbying campaign to stop the reef being put on the in danger list.
The Australian government will most likely try and lobby members of the World Heritage Committee to refute this draft decision and to try and have it watered down. We've seen that happen in previous years. Again, I think this strategy of trying to shoot the messenger, to try and spin and deflect, Australians are sick of that.
If the committee does list the reef as in danger, it will be a huge blow to Australia and its stewardship of this great natural wonder. But for reef scientists, there is a hope it might spur the government into action.
It's scary what's going on, but I think we will triumph, and it just takes the leadership, the science, and the action that we need to take now to prevent this environmental catastrophe from occurring.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.